Hey, what's happening, all you witches and wizards out there? And it is finally time for the season finale of the first season of The Owl House. This is episode 19, titled Young Blood, Old Souls. So, we open up. Edalyn has been captured. Edith. I keep calling her Edith, but it's Edalyn. Ida has been captured. Luz is at a loss, and King goes over how we got to this point with Emperor Bellows. Back in the day, the Boiling Isles was just a settlement on top of a downed titan. And ultimately, the life here grew to be able to harness the power of the titan. However, in came Emperor Bellows, who felt that the witches were doing things wrong, and he felt that they should be separated, that they shouldn't mix magic, and that was the only way to have order. And anyone who did not obey this law was punished severely. With the king questioning, it seems like the emperor is up to something, rounding up all the rogue wishes, but Luz could care less, as she is all about saving Ida, going to the armory and getting some weapons. But King's not too sure about this. But Luz is undeterred. She wants to save her family, and if Luz is going, King decides he's going too. Meanwhile, we see that Ida has been captured. She's being held by her sister to keep her under control, with Emperor Bellis even using a spell to help her regain her sanity, basically. So we actually get to see her in her conscious mind in her owl beast form, with us finding out that Emperor Bellos is actually after the portal to the human realm, with Ida naturally just completely saying, "No, I'm not giving that up to you." So Emperor Bellos decides that she will be turned to stone, punished accordingly, with as the will of the Titan. And while Lilith questions this, as they had made a deal, you know, Bellos says that it was the will of the Titan, so shall it be done. Don't betray me or anything, despite the fact that I just basically lied to you. Even having Lilith, wanting Lilith to basically destroy Ida's staff and talisman, which I thought he was going to drain the magic out of Albert, but no, he just wants it destroyed. So, as Luz makes her way through the town to go and help out Ida, she comes to find out the report that Ida will be turned to stone, like many other of the worst criminals out there, with Gus contacting Willow and them formulating a plan on how to help out Luz, as Luz is just enraged at what Lilith had done to her own sister, no less, swearing vengeance upon her. So, Luz and King engage in some terrible law-breaking activities to be sent to the conformatorium, where they pass by several already stoned, not the good kind of stoned either, stoned witches and wizards, who are the worst offenders, apparently. And as we encounter the warden once again from the first episode, who is all too ready to punish Luz for what she did during her first visit, she manages to capture him, with him not really expecting her to know magic at this point, with him even being asked to draw her a map to help her get to where Ida is being held. But the people in the crowd of the public stoning, question this, as while Ida might not be the best person, they don't really feel that she deserves to be turned to stone. With Willow and Gus arriving, wanting to find Luz and help her out in the current situation. as Kikimora uh, chews out the warden for basically letting Luz go, as Lilith tells Kiki that she will be the one to capture Luz, as Luz just carves a swath of destruction throughout the tower as she makes her way. It's just like she is definitely the apprentice of the Owl Lady. And as Luz manages to make her way to Ida, she finds that she's unable to break Ida's bonds. And Ida kind of just accepts her fate. While Luz wants to blame herself for getting Ida into this situation, Ida says she always knew this day was going to come one way or another, as she broke the law and, she had a good run up until this point. But she doesn't want Luz to suffer for her mistakes. So she reveals the location of the portal back to the human realm and tells Luz to leave, not wanting to lose the one person, the newest connection that she's had in the longest time. And as the time finally comes, Ida gives Luz one last hug goodbye, and she's sent off to meet her doom. And Luz sobs, having lost her greatest mentor. As Lilith arrives, having captured King, loses it basically, wanting to just take Lilith down for everything that she did. And after a very intense magic fight, it just kind of devolves into hair pulling as they end up falling through the portal into the human realm. And while Lilith is still able to use her power, which I didn't think would be actual thing here. But because of the magic sack of bile that they have in their bodies, of course she can still use her magic. Luz, on the other hand, she drew her power from the Titan directly, and without that, all of her glyphs crumble. And Lilith goes in to subdue Luz, and Luz says it's just like you should be the one turned to stone for everything that you've done. And Lilith agrees, saying that she never meant to betray her sister this way. And, well, Luz questions why she did any of this to begin with. And it's time for backstory, as we see that back in the day, Lilith and Edalyn were the best of friends, with one thing that, Big Sister Lilith always using being a spell where anytime Ida was injured in any capacity, they could share that pain. The half of the pain would be transferred onto the sister. So, it shows just how deeply they cared for each other. And with Lilith's dream to join the Emperor's Coven, they both practiced for it and trained for that day. But whereas Ida was extremely proficient with her magic, Lilith not so much. And there was only one spot left to join the Emperor's Coven. Lilith knew that ultimately Ida would more than likely beat her and be chosen. So Lilith went searching in the night market and found a spell that she thought would only last just one day. She would lose her magic for a day, and then the spell would just go away or something. But obviously Lilith was too hasty in this decision, and come the day of the tryout for the Emperor's Coven, Lilith actually, you know, rescinded her want to join the Emperor's Coven. It was Lilith's dream, not hers, and so she lets her sister have it. But unfortunately, she suddenly transforms, driven out by the Emperor's Coven, while Lilith is accepted into it. Lilith says that ultimately she had hoped that Emperor Belus would heal her sister, but he lied, and she wants nothing more than to save her sister, even handing over Albert and Ida's staff as a show of good faith. And while this doesn't make them square, Luz needs all the help she can get to save Ida. But as Luz goes back, she ominously looks back upon the human realm with a resolute look in her eyes. And as the time finally starts to come Willow and Gus see that it's finally starting. Ida is about to be turned to stone. Meanwhile, Lilith, Luz, and King make their way to the platform that should be able to take Luz up to the the scaffolding so that they can hopefully save Ida. But Luz wonders why this place is unprotected and even questions what will happen to Lilith. With Lilith saying that she'll stay behind in order to make sure something like this never happens again. But she's not quite sure why this place is so unprotected, only for Lilith and King to be captured by Emperor Bellows, who was sitting there in the dark like a weirdo, and they're thrown into the same cage as Ida, with Ida even wanting to do away with her sister there and then for everything that she's done. But King speaks on Lilith's behalf, revealing everything that Lilith has given up in order to help her sister. But it's too late. The machine activates. As Willow gives an impassioned speech to the masses, saying that Ida doesn't deserve this. This is Emperor Belus overstepping what he should be doing, and the people agree, not feeling that this was is worth it. That Ida's crimes do not fit with this punishment. And the people rise up. Meanwhile, we get a nice little fight between Luz and Emperor Bellows, with it being very obvious that Emperor Bellows has the upper hand. And as Luz fights her way through all of Bellows' spells, she's able to get one over on him at the last moment. But, while he is a little bit niddled over this, he does ultimately tell Luz that he will release Ida as long as she hands over the portal to the human realm, with Luz very much weighing her options there. But the machine starts to blast Ida, turning her to stone, and Emperor Bellows lets Luz know that she's running out of time, and he has no intention of invading the human world and conquering it. No, he has other plans. So Luz, with a heavy heart, hands over the portal, and Emperor Bellows lets her go to try to play hero. But while Luz might have lost, so has Emperor Bellows, as we see that she has rigged the portal to explode, destroying her only way back home, much to the ire of Emperor Bellows. And Luz arrives on the scene, disabling the machine, and because it wasn't finished, Ida is saved, with Luz threatening Kiki to release them. But while they release, they're surrounded by the Emperor's coven, but they manage to escape on Ida's back, much to the delight of the people. But Emperor Bellows addresses them, saying that ultimately he decided to spare the Owl Lady out of the goodness of his heart, but has stripped her of her magic and has left her to remain as the beast that she is, as a showing to the people of what happens when you deal with wild magic. Meanwhile, Ida manages to get everyone back to the Owl House, but uh, as Luz wants to get her some potions, Lilith lets Luz know that it's too late. Her curse is too far along, and the only way to bring Ida back to her normal form is for her to share the curse with her sister. And, while it seems as everything has worked out, Lilith has been greatly weakened because of this, and Ida is completely unable to use her magic. But Luz says that they will learn her way together, with them hoping that the future, will look bright as they've managed to save each other, if nothing else. As Luz laments how she's going to get back to the human realm, back to Earth, she does hope that one day she'll be able to find her way back to her mother. as Kiki wants to send, forces off to capture the Owl Lady once again, but Bellows feels that that's unnecessary as he sends one of his men, or women, off to monitor the Owl Lady. We saw this same figure back when Emperor Bellows was first introduced, so very much Bellows' right-hand person. And he says that ultimately the Owl Lady can wait, as he's more concerned with the Day of Unity. He plans on doing something with the human world, and it might not be what we think it is. He's up to something, but only time will tell what Emperor Bellows is after in the realm of humans. But hey, tell me your thoughts in the comments section below. I can't really even fathom what Bellows is after. I thought, hell, he might have been a human maybe at one point, and that's why, but I don't know. He seems to have some weird connection with the Titans. And 50 years, he's gotta be fairly old, but he's so adept at magic. Maybe he's the writer of the Yuzora books or something. That would be pretty cool. But it's hard to say where this is all headed. I don't know. It's hard to say if Ida will ever regain her magic. And what about Luz? Is she ever gonna make her way home? I like the fact that, she wasn't instantly trapped, but, she ultimately decided to sacrifice her way back home. She could get home at any time, but she desperately wanted to make sure that Ida was not punished for her, mistakes. That she was able to get Ida at least to safety, if nothing else. This was a fantastic series, a great first season, and I am so excited to see more. So tell me your thoughts and feelings on this conclusion. What do you think Emperor Bellows is up to? And what will happen with the new dynamic of, I guess, Lilith living in the Owl House as well? Tell me your thoughts and more in the comment section below. If you liked this video, leave me a like. If you didn't, feel free to leave me a dislike. Subscribe and hit the bell icon. That way you never miss out on another Owl House review once the second season comes along. And until then, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din, and I will see you later. Bye-bye.